It's true.
And we're live.
And yes, indeed we are.
Frustrating.
Okay. Oh, that's there. That's actually not a bad one to go with.
Our buddy Drew is coming up in 2 weeks.
OBD ain't nothing to fuck with.
He so one of his video game buddies is coming out to see him for a few days. So he's never met this guy in real life, just only played games with him online.
Oh wow.
And he's coming up, and we're gonna go to a Sharks game on April 4th.
Dude, Greg might be in town the week after that. My climbing buddy and Allan, it's okay. We can have more than one. Best friend James. He's gonna be in town. Well, he called the other day. Yeah. Not this weekend, but the next weekend. So like that same weekend you're talking
weekend.
about.
Yeah.
And then I think that Monday, Greg might be in town. We'll grab some beers after work.
Hell yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Greg's hella cool.
Yeah. I'm like genuinely just thrilled with the group chat and like the collection of people that we hang out with. Like it's just it is really special. And I'm saying this to you, and I don't even know if it'll be in the show. I kind of don't want to keep it in the show. I just want to say like I'm just grateful for them for believing in us. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I could not agree more.
Did you see that Greg and Paul were trying to bully Thrash into learning how to fly?
I did see that.
A plane.
A plane. Yes. I saw.
Not like Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, he was like, go to the airport and like just say you want to cruise around. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that. I did.
Yeah, that's fucking cool.
That is pretty cool.
I hope he does it. I mean, he's North Carolinian. That's where flying started.
The Wright brothers.
Yeah, Kitty Hawk. I'm not going to get over the fact that it's a kitty hawk. Like a sperm whale or a kitty hawk. Yeah. It's not the first time I've said that, but you like it every time.
I do like it. I've
got like a fact map. I don't know if it'll ever be worth map fact. That's what I meant to say.
Oh, you said you were going to pepper me with some.
Yeah, let's start with this. This will just warm me up a little.
Okay.
How many segments is Michigan? And this isn't a trick where like the Lower Peninsula is technically two things. Like, how many segments is Michigan?
Wow. How many segments? I'm trying to picture it in my head.
Well, hold on. How many do you think it is?
Is it 3?
How many do you think it is?
I don't know.
If I didn't ask you this, you would have said
3. How many segments?
Yeah, hold on. Don't you know? Don't, Allan. Stop. You thought it was. Hold on. You're familiar with the Lower and Upper Peninsula, right?
Yes.
The few mittens. You got your thumbs on each one.
Yeah.
So why did you think 3?
I
like to answer trivia. I asked your honest answer the second time. Oh my! I love when you get this way. Like when I badger you and you're like, I was.
I was trying.
It's not like, okay, I wasn't. So everybody, I think the norm people listening are like 2, dummy, Allan. I mean, I guess Dustin's asking you, but like the answer is 2, and then I say actually, right?
Right.
So yeah, 2, the Upper and Lower Peninsula.
Yeah,
Mackinac Bridge connecting them. And sure, there's probably like little islands that jut off of that, but that counts as 1 each.
Just part of it. Okay.
If you look way the fuck up north on the other side of Lake Superior, there's a tiny little island that borders Minnesota, and I've never seen this before in my fucking life. I just saw this today. I was like, what? That's not Michigan. That's Michigan too. It's not even close to the Upper Peninsula. It's close to Minnesota. It should be. This is like Crete or something, being like, sure, that's Rome has that. It's always Rome.
I'm looking at the map right now.
It's like Turkey saying they have Cyprus. Honestly, it's kind of like Greece saying they have Cyprus, if we're being honest. Like, I feel like Cyprus should have Cyprus. Do you see that tiny island I'm talking about? I mean, I
do.
It's called Isle Royale.
Of course it is. Royale with cheese.
Yeah. It's basically Canadian.
Yeah, I see it. It's up. It's like a little.
How's
red,
this?
This
is tiny... like a Mandela effect. It's been there our whole life.
Apparently. I mean, you fucking lived there, dude.
I know. Everybody there says it's 2 things. Nobody knows about this. I don't know anybody that ever talked about that.
It's very weird.
My boss is from Detroit. I'm going to ask him if he's ever heard of this.
Can you take
Did
a
I tell
ferry?
you we were at a meeting the other day and my boss was like, "Hey, did you get what I was saying when I told you that the Killers would have been cool for the Super Bowl halftime?" I'm like, "Yeah, you're saying you're listening to the show." And I got really uncomfortable because it was like a company meeting. And like his boss was there. I was like, "Oh God, let's not start a conversation about it, Mike." Oh, no, that's not the best part. The best part is it says he listens in the office on speaker.
Oh shit!
I don't like that at all. Like I have a million buttons I'm looking at that I can't press. Like that's the best. That's the best thing on the sheet.
That's the best one you can press.
I can't even. I got the margarita one right next to that. Can't even talk about that. Not this early. You got to hide that shit until he gets tired and goes on to real work and doesn't finish the podcast.
Right.
Hi, Mike. I think I guess I'll just ask other questions that are different.
Okay.
I had a question I wanted to ask you. Oh, this is fun. Maybe you know what? We'll talk about movies at the end of the show. Remind me, I have a movies question to ask you. Okay.
Okay.
Every once in a while, the sheet just refreshes, and I love when it does that. Okay, I gotta scroll all the way back down. All these dumb questions.
Scrolly.
Yeah. Yep. Scrolly poly. Well, I was hoping to have a link ready for you, but it still hasn't finished getting listed yet or registered. But I got a new redirect site for us.
Oh, do tell. What'd you get?
So I've had people complain that these fucking snowflakes on the right are like trumpgags.com. I thought you guys were non-biased. I'm like, I cannot like someone. Like, also, it's not my fault. The judge kept gagging him. Like it was, we didn't know how long it'd be until he decided to sell gags. To be smart, the guy loves branding. We own the .com. You know.
Yeah. I'm trying to, we made an investment.
Squatters' rights.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Squatters' rights. All right, so because those people get all sensitive, initially I was going to get this to redirect to our Patreon because that's what trumpgags.com takes you to the Patreon.
Right.
Genuinely, thank you to everyone who believes in us and wants to support what we're trying to turn the show into.
Absolutely.
Head on over, starts at $3 a month, up to 18. I've been saying 19 a month. It's only 18 at the highest tier. Anyway, so since the snowflakes, so it is cheaper than Netflix. Since the I don't go to Netflix 4 times a month, 8 times a month. Not like here. Oh, anyways. All right. So since they got so upset about trumpgags.com, and the other thing I've heard is our merch. Nobody knows how to spell fungible.
that is a tough one. I agree. Yes.
Fungiblenuntakens.com is currently the redirect site to our merch. It will remain that way at least till October, and then I'll have a tough decision to make about whether I want to put out another $20 on that.
Split some babies.
Yeah. Are you talking about like Solomon?
Yes.
Or are you talking about like Trump?
I was thinking Solomon, but
we execute the baby.
I thought you were talking about Trump. What was I saying? Oh, I got a new redirect site for our merch tab.
Do tell.
It's merchandise related.
Okay.
Preownedbuttplugs.com. It doesn't mean used. I would have said used. It's not used. They're just previously owned.
They come with the manufacturer's warranty still
intact.
Yeah. They've been inspected for your pleasure.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Refurbished if necessary. Yes.
Right.
It's not pre-lubed.
There's been a 200-point inspection on the butt plug.
Too many points. I don't think you want them to be pointy. I mean, maybe if you're into that, but so when I went to buy this from Squarespace, they're like, just in case other people are trying to hone in on your turf, you might want to get the .net and the .org as well.
Oh, right.
I was like,
.co.
I mean, unless you're seeing something I'm not seeing here, Patreon or anyways.
Preownedbuttplugs.com
to get show merch.
Oh my God. Okay.
And I said that in the group chat, and Greg was like, dude, you got to get the .org so that you can turn it into a nonprofit.
Right.
And then I started thinking about all the like corporate speak language, and it just like spews out of me. It's like, see, here at preownedbuttplugs.com, we ethically source, gently used pre-owned butt plugs, and through our innovative proprietary matching software, place the right plug in the right ass of the most needy buttholes. See, what a lot of people don't know is that the price of butt plugs significantly depreciates the second you walk them off the adult lot.
It's true. It's true.
What we do is we even the playing field and provide accessibility and equity to the anal enthusiast marketplace.
Love it.
We know you do, Alan. I gotta be faster. No, not that one.
I'm gonna lean towards Bussy. I'm a fan of a beehole or something.
Y'all let me in this damn
That's it.
house.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
Me and the boys are edgy. Yeah.
All right, you ready?
We're edgy.
Ready. Are you recording?
Yes. All right. Well, you want to start a show?
Let's start a show.
That podcast is filling your head with garbage.
No offense taken there.
Well, it sounds like none taken. To the Friday Headlines Roundup edition of None Taken, where every week my good friend Allan wrangles up the headlines. We talk them at you. Because I listen to 13 hours of podcast a day, and Allan watches 3 hours of cable news, so you don't have to. And now, get ready to take the sledgehammer to the culture war echo chambers. But first, what day is it, Allan?
So, another Friday is upon us. What'll you be doing, Smithers? Something gay, no doubt.
What?
What? You know, lighthearted, fancy-free. Mothers, lock up your daughters. Smithers is on the town.
Exactly, sir.
Exactly, sir. As mentioned earlier, you can head on over to Fungible None Takens for now to buy our excellent show merch. Watch for that's where you can get the Allan's t-shirts where it's
The edging.
That's where you can get Allan's edging service.
Me and the boys are edgy.
at fungiblenuntakens.com, soon to be pre-owned buttplugs.com. And Allan's more of the serious guy on the show. I'll have him promote like our real business venture, the actual purpose of the LLC.
You can also go to trumpgags.com for our Patreon. You get all that unedited video over there and some other cool stuff. You can hang out with us. And then support the people that support us. Slickitsdigital.com for all your SEO and marketing needs. Slickitsdigital.com.
I guess I should make a real site on the pre-owned butt plugs and then see if he can get that like optimized for us. We have these redirects and those don't really optimize well, I guess.
You know, maybe we should ask him what site we should buy before we buy.
Why don't I get him involved in that?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about some news, or did anything new happen to your car? Somebody hit your car today, or
not today.
Okay.
No. But happy Friday, everybody. The weekend's here. Have a can of beer. Welcome to the show. Hope you're all having there you go. Dustin's got a beer. Hope you're all having a great week and having a great weekend. Yeah, I guess let's get into some headlines.
Okay. I'm distracted by the palm fronds on the underside of your cap. I like it.
It's pretty cool, right?
It's a nice look. Yes.
It's like a custom hat, dude. It's
Custom
hard
hat?
to get. Well, it's not custom, but you can
it's
only get it for the All-Star game.
It's collector's
Yeah.
hat. That's
It's hard to
nice.
find.
Fucking hat is fucking papers.
Indeed. Don't roll on Shabbos, God damn it.
Yeah.
Fucking
Your ex-wife was Jewish. Not yours, although I don't know. Allan?
no.
Did we talk about that on the show? Do we do that? Is that a
I
thing?
mean, we
start
do
now?
share too much of our
Episode
tragic personal
350.
lives.
We mentioned Allan's ex-wife. Wow. God damn it.
That's a first.
I'm so sorry.
It only took 350 episodes. All right, how about that?
Yeah, you could actually say that I do a good job of keeping it in my pants if it took me this long to finally do that. Yeah, that's a good point.
Keep it in your pants, like preownedbuttplugs.com.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Oh my God. I have a story about butt plugs, but I have to check if it is not a personal story. But
Okay.
it has to do
I was like, okay.
it has to do with a performer and an unexpected turn of events. And I just don't know if I can talk about it on the show. It was at a show. I wasn't at the show. I heard about it. It was
Secondhand.
Yeah.
Like a pre-owned.
I say Governor Bill Lee was right after hearing about this. All this shit should be banned.
I am quite intrigued. But for now, let's do some headlines, shall we? All right. President Biden spoke with Israel Prime Minister Netanyahu for the first time in over a month. Biden cautioned Netanyahu against Israel carrying out a planned military operation in Rafah, and Netanyahu agreed to send a delegation to the U.S. for talks. I mean,
Rafah.
so that happened. Essentially, Netanyahu said, "Yeah, I'm still going to do it." And it's what's been happening in Gaza is like Israel will tell the population, "We're going to attack this place now, so move over here," and then people move, and then they attack the place where people move to. They're like, "You're going to have to move over here now because we're going to attack that place now." People move again. It's like it's a shitty
It
situation.
kind of feels like a game for them.
It feels, I mean, almost like I'm trying to think of like Command and Conquer or something. It's very strange.
It's like I've never heard of this tactic. Just keep telling them to move around.
And now
every time they move, Hamas will be a straggler or the first to go or something. I don't know.
The idea, I guess, is that they're supposed to stay in place, but I don't know that they do. The famine there is looking worse and worse and worse. People are starving to death. It's a very rough situation, and I think that Biden's in kind of a rough spot because he's traditionally been
not anymore. Not with Trump. No, Trump's son-in-law is like, but Palestine would make excellent waterfront property.
I saw that.
I don't think Biden's in any hot water at all. No.
Yeah, he's not the boiling frog.
There's people you won't convince, and then there's
Right.
people that are rational looking at all, two of the candidates. And yeah.
Who was it? I was listening to some podcasts last week, and they were like, "Well, Netanyahu is an asshole, but I mean,
and Israelis don't like him.
Nobody likes him. He's in a politically difficult spot as well
because he was installed by the CIA, right, Alan? Is that what you're saying?
Totally. Yeah.
Why does he have all those names, Alan?
CIA plant for sure.
Why does he have all those names, Alan?
We're
not going to start that, right?
No, we're not going to start that.
Okay, fine.
Do you think they tested LSD on him, or?
I don't think it was that kind of a CIA plant.
Oh, okay.
It was more like a ficus.
Right.
CIA ficus.
Ficus. Yeah, these things happen.
I love the name of that plant. It's just fun to say. It's hands down the funniest office plant to be able to reference. It's the "k" sound.
It is absolutely the best.
And it's a great insult. Like if someone is just a very bland coworker, that is an office ficus. Just like a champagne Camry of a person.
Champagne supernova
in the sky.
Yes. All right.
Congressional leaders reached a deal on a second minibus package. So it's the one Volkswagen made.
Yeah, it's just above the Aerovan. It's just
to fund the remaining 70% of the federal government for the rest of the fiscal year. No shit. Leaders made it, but it hasn't gone to a vote, right?
The House passed it. It's up to the Senate now. They have till I think 12:01 midnight tomorrow, essentially Friday, to pass it. So to avoid the government
partial shutdown.
Yeah. It's just
we're in March, and this was last year.
This is so frustrating. And meanwhile, we have the Biden impeachment hearings happening. I don't know if you saw any of that stuff today or yesterday.
Yeah. I got some sounds in the big show, but we can talk about it. You can talk. About it. It's more current now.
Well, it's just frustrating to see.
Frustrating.
Congress to waste all this time on this nothing goose chase, while
no, Tony Buttafuoco or whatever said that it's he saw it all happen, and like he made some very bold statements.
Yeah, he couldn't put a finger on any of it though. And Parnas said the exact opposite.
I know.
He was like,
Lev Parnas, Igor and Lev Parnas,
right.
Igor something, and Lev Parnas. These are Rudy Giuliani's henchmen that he sent to Ukraine to find the Joe Biden.
And he was like, "No, there's nothing there. I looked.
I was sent there on
a mission to find this.
Right.
And nobody I talked to, even the opposition, there was nothing there.
Yep.
So they're doing that. Meanwhile, our government's about to shut down, and we haven't passed any sort of legislation that matters, that's going to help anybody. What's the fucking point?
And if it was all because of some like principled take on anything that you could say like leadership at least is holding to their principles, you'd say a minibus is literally what got the previous guy fired. So like the tactic that he's using to pass all this legislation is not what Kevin McCarthy was the previous Speaker of the House.
Right.
He
Before Mike.
couldn't pass the individual monthly ones and was going to pass an omnibus package, which is all of them wrapped into one bill.
Right.
And they fired him for it, hired Big Mike. Now Big Mike's running the house, and Big Mike's house, and he's fucking doing the same thing they fired McCarthy for. So it's like, it'd be one thing if it was like, at least they're like on principles, and that's why they're, not doing this other stuff, because they're sticking to not letting, I guess, the Democrats push through an omnibus bill. And then this is a fucking 7-month bill. It's like more than that. 70% of 12. I guess it's less.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. I mean, did you see the in the impeachment hearing, one of the Democratic committee members was like, "Yeah, I'll go ahead and first the motion. I'll go ahead and say,
why don't we call it impeachment?"
That's
that's
and then nobody would second it.
Yeah, they all just looked at him.
They always looked at him like,
"What? We don't hold snap elections like you guys do." And it's like, well, you took forever to do it. Like, we held a snap one because that he was saying.
Right.
Democrats held a snap impeachment because they were like, we got to hurry up and do this now. We might as well do this now. I mean, I'm not even saying I'm in defense of that. And they wrote legislation so that you couldn't do that. But they just wouldn't even like entertain the idea of doing it. So there's nothing to it. Yeah.
Right.
And like that Joey Buttafuoco.
I think it's Tony. Yes.
Okay. He is. Do you remember Joey Buttafuoco from the Amy Fisher?
Amy Fisher, the ice skater?
No, no.
Nancy Kerrigan. No, that was a different one.
It was all the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, Joey Buttafuoco was I think Amy Fisher's boyfriend.
Okay. I definitely remember the name. I was thinking he was the guy with the pipe that hit.
No, that's a funny name too. I'll have to look that up.
I think it's Joey something.
Remember when Nancy Kerrigan went, "Why?
Yes.
Why?" That was so funny. Like, what's so funny about her doing that?
It's funny and tragic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to get the next one set up while I look up this Nancy Kerrigan clip?
The father of the actually, so I left this one in more because I'm curious about more of the right wing's viewpoint of this headline, because I don't. That's not really my echo chamber. I thought.
Okay, well, since I don't know what you're talking about, let me just play this really quick.
Okay.
I don't interrupt that. Let's find her.
Oh wow, it's worse than I thought. I remember.
Why? I don't know. Some hard black stick. I don't know. Some hard black stick. Why?
She said, "I don't know. It's a hard black stick." I never knew that.
This is why you listen to None Taken, ladies and gentlemen, for this kind of content.
Why?
That's why.
My God. Okay. All right.
What's this echo chamber?
All right. So let's see. What I gotta find it again. The father of the 2021 Oxford high school shooter was convicted of involuntary manslaughter after the mother in the first time.
Boy, this is fucking ponderous, man.
Yeah.
Ponderous, fucking ponderous.
In the first time parents were held criminally liable for a child's actions in a school.
Oh yeah,
shooting.
the ones that were like, Jeremy spoke in class today and you didn't do anything, right?
Right. The Pearl Jam song is what you're referring to. Yes.
And like I agree. I agree with that judgment in their case. Like, they had all the warning signs of and then they were like, no, we just bought him a gun and we didn't keep it locked, even though we knew he had, mental health crisis. No, you have to be responsible. That's the whole point of all this.
I mean, I agree with the decision.
I don't have kids, so I got it in a drawer right here. But when James comes into town and his son's here, I don't even know where I'm gonna put it. Somewhere high.
Somewhere
high up.
The bread basket.
Top of the refrigerator in a bowl.
There you go.
In a gun bowl.
You can have a combination gun bowl.
Yeah.
Safe.
Okay. Please go on. So the parents of this were held criminally liable?
Yes, because there were mental health issues, and as you said,
the father was convicted. The mom
father was convicted
like a month ago, and we talked about it. Yeah.
Right.
This did not make a blip. Did this happen today, or was this earlier in the week?
I think it happened yesterday.
This has not come across my radar at all.
Okay.
And the people that I know on the right are not against this judgment. Like,
Okay.
I
Interesting.
mean, would you agree that Paul is probably the voice of the furthest right in our group chat?
Yes, I would.
On some aspects, not all.
On
Yeah,
gun stuff.
he's like good. You know, she deserves. If everything that I understand this to be true is true, she deserves to have a fucking book thrown at her. Like, just be a fucking parent. Sorry, I like. There's a reason I don't have kids. It's too expensive. Sounds smelly, and I don't. That's a responsibility that I don't wish to endure. I I'm sorry. Like, you have to be responsible for your children.
Yeah, no, I think it's a very reasonable judgment. I think it's
Yeah.
a good thing. I was just so.
Otherwise, they're going to take the shit all away from all of us. So it's like, no, like, when you do this, you have to be held responsible.
Somebody has to be responsible,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah,
that's
exactly.
And especially if the kid's underage, like the parent is responsible for that kid. That's how
And they
that works.
killed a bunch of people. Like, come on.
Yes.
Like, you didn't just break a law, you know? It was
Right.
one of the big ones, top 10.
It's
top 10.
I would say it might be top 3,
How
actually.
many deadly sins do you think there are?
Oh, there's at least
3,
7.
probably 3.
There's at least 7. I know that.
Do you know there was an 8th one?
I did not know that.
It is not a joke.
Okay,
That
what is it?
somehow we just we like 7 sunflowers, 7 squirrels spinning on a
That's
branch.
when you get the head in the
sunflowers
box
coming
at
up
the
as
end of
rams.
the.
What?
It's when you get the head in the box at the end of the movie.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So there would have been a 7th one, if an 8th one. Then they'd have to call the movie 8.
Yeah, it wouldn't work as well.
And it doesn't fit in the spelling of 7 like the V does with 7.
It doesn't
Anyway,
play well with test audiences.
right. So wait, the 8th deadly sin was listlessness.
Listlessness?
I think it was just because it's too difficult to say.
I mean, idle hands, right? That's
Sure. Yeah.
That's
I
the
feel like
same
it's
thing.
covered with sloth.
That does seem, yeah. What's the difference between sloth and listlessness? It seems
I don't know.
it's like
I
the
wasn't
same
prepared
thing.
to answer that. I don't know. I like words. I listened to a language podcast that I have a bunch of clips because Ben Wonders sent a thing about it, and the episode was about the word "come." This guy says it so many. He talks about how great it is and how sticky it is.
Wow,
So bad.
that's fantastic. I can't wait.
Can't wait.
Alex Jones on his show last week said that the barbecue, you know, the guy in Haiti, barbecue,
the head leader of the biggest gang, kind of the head of all gangs around.
He said that the etymology of that word barbecue came from Haiti, and it's like, no, that's not true. It's funny, but not true.
Then he said, "I'll eat your leftist ass."
He did say that.
Oh, is that where that came from?
He actually replayed. Yeah.
He also clarified it, right? I heard about that. That was in a meme where he clarified the whole eating your leftist ass thing. He's like, these guys are so disingenuous. Like, when I was talking about that, I wasn't saying I'll eat your ass. That's fucking. I'm not one of these Gen Z and ass eating. But I will tell you what I meant when you guys misconstrued my words. What I meant was I will eat people if we run out of food. It's like, okay, yeah, we
it's kind of what we thought. Actually. Yeah. He also said 12 million people died of famine during the Great Depression, which was fun.
That would have been a large percentage of the population.
That would have been a pretty big fucking deal if that actually happened. All right, let's move on. Where are we?
Chuck.
Chuck.
Oh, me. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer delivered. I'm sorry. Let me start over.
Yes.
Senate Majority. I said you heard me misspeak, right? Senate Majority Leader Amy Schumer's uncle delivered a speech outlining a path towards peace in the Middle East. So him and Kushner are on this, including call for new elections in Israel, which drew notable attention. That's one way to make the headline. He basically said that Bibi should be replaced. He called for regime change in Israel.
This is kind of old news. We really didn't talk about it much.
Doesn't it make him anti-Semitic? Because
people, there were critics saying that. Yeah,
he's Jewish, Alan.
I don't think this is
Amy Schumer
at all. The only thing is that while I agree with most of the sentiment in that speech, even if Netanyahu were replaced with a far left candidate in Israel,
Benny Gantz is in the war party.
They would do the same thing. Like nothing. Like that's not going to change anything.
No, there's 5 hit songs in Israel right now that explicitly talk about genocide. Did you know this?
I did not know this. Was there a top 40 in Israel? I wasn't aware. Is there a Billboard Israel? Is there?
Yes.
Can we do a song contest like Brido for Israeli?
Because we'll run into the problem he has, where he's running out of years and times to do the contest with.
The 1950s one was hilarious.
It is pretty good. You have to listen to Hunk with Mike Bridenstine. He doesn't say retard. Since that review drew his name into that, I was just trying to clear it up.
I think he'll appreciate that.
Yeah, probably great. This is a great plug. Listen to Hunk with Mike Bridenstine.
He doesn't say the R word.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
It's a very low bar.
I don't care about that subject, honestly.
It's weird that a senator would make that speech, though, isn't it? Like about a foreign,
the leader of the majority party.
Sure, but that seems odd, doesn't it? Is it not odd that?
I mean, I think he's trying to do things that the president can't do so that it can make the Democrats look better.
He's trying to take some heat off Biden, perhaps. I guess.
I think it's something that if Biden said it, it would cause him problems from the opposition party and allies with Israel. But if he says it, the Democrats are associated with it. And it's, because people are going to not vote for the president based on being mad at the ruling party, not simply the president. And if they can see the ruling party making moves like that, then maybe they'll bring some people back into the tent. I don't think it'll work, but yeah,
I guess it's a fair shot.
Yeah, both parties are just controlled by their extremes, though. It's wild. It's like 20% of each party. It's just nuts.
It might be less than 20%. It might be
probably right. Yeah,
it might be like 10.
Very loud. Very loud. Yeah, but you know what they say? It only takes one turd to ruin a whole tub of Jello.
Is that what they say?
They do say that. I said that at a meeting once, and my boss got mad. I was a young up and comer at Bed Bath and Beyond in Detroit, and went back to the store meeting with me and like my supervisor, my mentor, and he was like, "Yeah, Dustin was good in the meeting. He did say that something about poop in a bathtub." I was like, "Come on, that's a phrase, But apparently, you don't say it in business.
It was a turn of phrase. Everybody's had a bathtub.
For a football coach, it's fine to say. Why is it different as a retail manager? Come on, taking yourself so seriously.
I have a bathtub full of Jello right now. I'm not going to shit in it. Like that'd be weird,
right? Not even once. Not even once.
Not even once.
Yeah, you wouldn't even put your bathtub cup in there. If you saw that at the inside of it, like a Jello mold, you'd be like, I don't want any of this. It's got bathtub cup in it.
What's a bathtub cup?
Alan, I only do the show with one other person. It was a sound.
I just wanted you to explain it for the audience.
Well, you also are on record not remembering things we talk about. It's
true.
The cup that you keep next to
We've
your
done
bathtub.
350 shows, Dustin.
Yeah, well, this was 2 ago.
Okay.
It's a cup you keep next to your bathtub that you can wash the inside of the tub out with, rinse it out. When you're washing your dog, you pour it over their head so you don't have to spray them in the face with water when you're washing their face.
Yeah.
That has a lot of purposes, but you don't drink out of it because, it's been in the bathtub.
Yeah, you don't wouldn't.
And you don't eat fucking Jello that's touched it.
Definitely don't eat Jello in your bathtub cup.
Yeah.
That would be recommended by your Surgeon General.
Do you want to talk about voting rights?
Yeah, I was going to say, let's move on. All right. A voting rights organization filed a suit against the person and other entities behind a robocall campaign that used AI.
It was I was right. Remember, it was the campaign. It was Joe Biden's opposition in the Democratic Party. It was
the guy that got like 2% of the voters.
Yeah, like the ice cream man. He sells it's a lotto company.
And it's the person that got to do it. They paid like $150 to do the voice, which was
he was a person.
He was a magician.
A magician.
He was a magician. Just so funny.
And they filmed him, and he looked exactly like a magician.
I mean,
it wasn't like doing magic. It was like what a magician dresses like in their off time.
Yeah, it was like essentially they got a cameo. They paid for a cameo, like we have at the front.
They went on
show.
Fiverr.
Right. Exactly.
I think that's literally what they did.
It seems like that's what they did. It's pretty wild.
So what happened? They charged this guy?
They're filing a suit against the person. So we'll see. So they're trying to hold them accountable.
Man. This is AI voice, and this is.
I was just gonna say that we're gonna see way more of this.
Low level. This is Bush League fucking psych out shit, man. Those
we're
are
gonna see so much more of this.
But this is the beginning.
Yeah. I would imagine come September, October of this year, as we're closer and closer to the election, it's going to be rampant, right? It's going to be all over the place. So look forward to that, folks. There's that to look forward to.
It's going to be fantastic. Plus, we got Tic Tacs and all that.
It's going to be good times. All right.
Your turn. National Association of Realtors, or NAMBLA, settled a lawsuit for $418 million, agreeing to eliminate policies that set a standard 5 to 6% commission. If approved, the deal is expected to lead to lower commissions. Everybody is blowing this out of proportion.
The Times did an entire episode about
And and that person sounded like they had like a bone to pick. I don't
They
think they
did.
really knew what they were talking about. Which makes sense because they're like elitist East Coasters that probably sold their property and bought something up in the country during the pandemic, just to get away from it all. Wait, I'm in Nashville.
The Poconos.
Poconos, yeah. Okay, so what's this dealing with? This is dealing with the 6% commission that gets split between the selling and buyer's agent, right?
Yeah, so essentially the NAR had a
NAR.
They had a monopoly on real estate sales, wherein if you wanted to be a real estate agent, you had to subscribe to their service so that you could see listings, the MLS listings, so that you could negotiate prices, so you could do all these things. Essentially had to go through them. Even the lock boxes that that were at the homes that were for sale that you had to get in to show your clients.
They owned the manufacturers of them.
Exactly. A complete monopoly.
They have a stake in the DocuSign service.
Right.
Half of the paperwork that you sign when it's a giant stack of paperwork you buy a house.
Oh, you've done this.
Half of those forms are literally disclaimers from lawsuits that NAR has lost. Like you're
true?
not signed. Yes, it's not all like, and this is something about your loan. It's like, and this one says that you can't sue us over this thing, and the fact that we do this isn't a thing that you have a problem with, and it's just like, okay, whatever.
I can't imagine just buying a car, you have to sign like 50 things. So a house has got to be like
it's like that. It's like double that, but
Yeah.
it's not like a million times that. It's not, but still.
So anyways, so the outcome of this essentially is that people who paid 6% to sell a home, they may get some of that back because there was no option to negotiate that price. They just were told that's what it was.
The thing is, you always had an option to negotiate that,
but nobody knew that.
Yeah, people did know that.
According-
Natasha and I did that.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, she still has her license from California, and our plan.
Oh, she's in the biz.
Our plan was that she was going to be able to have the 3% taken off for she was going to represent the buyer, I believe. And then we weren't able to do that because of a certain reason. And then since we still did half of the legwork for them and we just needed someone with fucking papers to say okay to it, they had agreed to 1.5%. And then they dragged their feet on that. It was a whole fucking thing. I don't even want to talk about it. But I know, Natasha, I probably got some of those facts wrong. At me later in IRL. But the point is, like, that was always negotiable. But the way that this was talked about in these lawsuits and settlements was that they would kind of treat it like a tipping screen where they start at like 18%, 22% or 24%. You're like, is there? And then if you look, there's a little button that says custom tip.
Right.
That little button was always there IRL too. People just didn't think about it. So.
Well, I would imagine, especially if you're buying your first home, if you're buying your first home, it feels like a pretty stressful situation signing all those documents, and you're just happy to click whatever box they tell you to, I would imagine. I mean, I'm picturing myself in that environment. I think that's how I would react. No?
Natasha texted me in the middle of the show about what we're talking about, and I'm just texting her, don't ever do this.
Okay.
I can't, I don't know what you said.
I was just saying that I would imagine, especially if you're a first-time home buyer, that's kind of a sort of stressful situation when you're confronted with this pile of documents you have to sign, that you're probably just clicking the box and checking whatever the agent tells you to do. You're just on autopilot almost, right?
Yeah, but like, I mean, it's the same as like healthcare. Like in healthcare, you say like be your own advocate, right?
Right.
Like this is the same thing as that.
Sure.
Like nobody says like you can't. You just kind of. But the other thing is they were being sleazy and they were like coordinating buyer and seller locations, right?
Right.
Have commissions. That was a whole part of it too. I don't know. The New York Times said that the big takeaway from this was that like nobody wants to be a member of the National Association of Realtors anymore because part of the perks was that you would be in this database that nobody else would have access to.
You could access the MLS, the listing
Yeah,
service.
but now apparently it's not required to be a member to do so, or something like that was one of the settlements.
Well, it wasn't supposedly it wasn't going to be after this suit.
So
Yeah.
it's like, well, that's most of why people were there. So they're not going to be paying dues to it. So it will have less power to control lobbyists, and then maybe have more rights for privileges of this. More of the power and dynamic will come back to the consumer.
Hey, so speaking of your girlfriend interrupting you, hi Candace. You're on the show right now.
My fiance.
Say hi to Dustin.
Hi.
Hi, Dustin.
Hi, good.
All right, I'll call you after the show, okay?
What fucking show? Nobody listens to that fucking show. Why
All
would
right. Goodbye.
Bye. Wow, that was fortuitous. One would say. All right, should we move on?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Pakistan launched airstrikes in Afghanistan targeting suspected Pakistan Taliban hideouts in response to a recent attack that killed 7 Pakistani soldiers. It feels like we've just moved on from sort of that area of the Middle East because we got other shit happening. But there's still conflict out there. Stuff is still happening. Only reason I left that in the show is because I think we sort of forget that that's a thing.
Probably best if we let them deal
with their own,
sort
it out themselves.
Yeah.
I would
agree. If we have a lake flood again, we can get involved and help with getting, aid. But I don't think we,
let's hope not. Yeah.
We built enough schools, they clearly don't want them. The Taliban, not the people of Afghanistan.
I always remember we had your doctor friend on, who was there after Afghanistan. We left, and just talking to him and saying like, well, do you remember this? And I was like, well, maybe like you had some positive impact. And he was like, no, I don't think so. Really?
Like it did. And then that all went away.
It all went away. And it's just like, fuck, man.
Yeah. That, I'm really good friends with them.
Paulson, right? Paulson.
Well, no. That's Brewer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I never really hear him deal with that the way that touched him,
Yeah.
I didn't expect that. It's not like he does. He's a enlightened modern man that's in touch with his emotions and feelings. He doesn't lack the ability to emote, but I've never heard him sort of like, I hadn't heard that from him before.
I will never forget that interview.
Yeah.
That was, I still think about that.
Brazil.
Yeah.
Brazil's federal police indicted former President Bolsonaro for allegedly falsifying his own COVID-19 vaccination record and
his kids too, apparently.
And criminal association. What's that mean? Is that like the people associated with him?
Yeah,
a criminal.
So he had somebody falsify the document in the record in the database or whatever, and also had him do it for his like 12-year-old kid. 12-year-old daughter, and also several others apparently. Police detective Fabio Alvarez Shore signed the indictment, said that Bolsonaro and his aides changed their vaccination records in order to issue the respective certificates and use them to cheat current health restrictions. It's almost like he was in the NBA or something. It was very
or what's his name? Djokovic.
Right.
Yeah. Still not allowed in Australia, probably. Oh no, he was there recently. Never mind.
Oh, the tennis player, yes.
Yeah. Wasn't that his thing? He was like, Aaron Rodgers. Are we talking about people that fake their vax cards? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, Rodgers just said like
I'm immunized.
Yeah, that's what he said. He wouldn't specify what it meant. Did you see some people were thinking that Rodgers might be RFK's VP pick
on his list, or it's on the speculation?
Would that not be the most hilarious thing ever?
Sure.
Rodgers is not
the most hilarious thing ever is the CIA killing RFK Jr. That would be the most hilarious thing ever, and they don't give him security and just waiting.
Rodgers not a very bright dude.
No, I think he is.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd like to see him in some spotlights with trying to give political speeches.
Oh, I think he is. I think that it's got him to a conclusion I don't agree with, and I associate people lack intelligence. But I mean, he's probably not as smart as he thinks he is. But I don't think I am either. So
nobody is. I think it'd be very entertaining.
How can I be so self-deprecating in the same sentence? That was quite the paradox.
It was a parabola.
Wow, a pair of something, Alan.
All right. Let's see. Russian President Putin won a 5th term with 87% of the vote.
See the guys with guns and like checking the voting booths.
Yeah. Extending his rule to 2030 in an election marked by the absence of credible opposition. Did you see where he was asked by a Western journalist?
Yes,
about,
let's talk about it here because I didn't feel like that clip was going to fit the show. Yeah.
Right. So essentially, a journalist said, Navalny's dead. Your other opposition wasn't allowed to run. Do you call that democracy? And Putin's response was like, I mean, he wasn't allowed to run because he didn't do the things he was supposed to do to run. And yeah, Navalny died. That's super unfortunate.
He said these things happen in life.
These things happen. Like,
yeah,
it was like a mob boss.
Yeah.
These things happen. He fell down the stairs,
Like then like a sentence later, he was like, by the way, in America, you guys are using your justice system against one of your candidates. So, that's and I'm like, yeah, totally the same thing. That's right. Yeah. Did Trump get poisoned by his underwear? Like, remind me when that fucking happened. Like, no, the guy fucking did crimes. We've seen them. They're on record. The question is, how is he going to weasel out of it? That's what we're all tuning in for.
Right. Nobody's dying from touching doorknobs over here.
Yeah.
Not yet. You know what?
We're a little more subtle. We'll get the cartels to do it.
Eventually. Give us a year or two, perhaps we'll get there.
We like to keep our hands clean. We'll have somebody else involved.
Right. Indeed.
I've been talking to Cody too much. Guys, have you started following Foxhole yet? Foxhole.co on Instagram. He's had a few more. I've seen the numbers go up, but it needs to go up.
Nice. Yeah. Get after it. Follow that dude. Is he going to do some shows?
He's going to be on. He's going to be on. Yeah. Our next Friday's show is going to be him and Julian. Not a debate. But it's going to be a debate because
we're going to talk about Ukraine.
Those guys do not agree. So, but they're both professionals. And so I'm looking forward to it. Really looking forward.
I can't wait, dude. That's going to be such a fun
I don't feel like we need to take notes. I don't think we need to come in with notes like usual.
I'll have some notes, but it won't be anything crazy. I just want a little bit of structure, but we're just going to let them run.
Yeah, right. Because rules make games more fun. We need to have, but
a little bit of structure helps, but not too much. Yeah. They're going to, they're going to tear the walls off.
We're not going to get to our points. It's going to be, what are they going to?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. We can skip that one. We already talked about it.
Dude, this is wild. Neuralink, that's the brain computer interface under Musk's company.
Mm-hmm.
Neuralink shared a video of its first human trial patient controlling a computer. These are words. They released a video of a guy who formerly couldn't move, right?
Mm-hmm. Paraplegic from the neck down. He couldn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
And because of Neuralink, the video they show, he was playing chess, but he said he was able to play Civ 6 for 8 hours.
Yeah. The only thing he was upset about was he had to recharge it, the battery died or something.
Wow. Sorry, I have to go charge my brain. I guess that's what sleeping is.
I mean, that's really cool. Also a little bit terrifying, but pretty cool. It remains to be seen what the consequences of this sort of technology might be, but this could be the step along the way that connects humanity to AI, and that would be a very interesting thing.
What's interesting is all of the unanswered questions that, if we can think of them, they're going to happen, which is, it's not going to lead to a separate class of cognitive ability. Yeah. So we could just do another show about that if you want. Like that's a whole thought experiment to parse through.
Especially if only the 1% have access to it, then you get a whole. There's science fiction novels written about a similar type thing.
What did Professor Galloway say in the last episode with technology? It's here. It's just not evenly distributed.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
we're giving it to all these paraplegics. Can you believe that? This is like when the vax came out and we had to give it to all the olds first. And I was like, well, I like it. I'm in public a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still got years to live.
Yeah.
In your house. It's very interesting technology. It's hard for me to wrap my brain around all of it.
You said the thing.
I said the thing.
Yeah, you're talking about brains.
Yeah.
I thought that was a pun. I'm sorry. Right. Yeah,
it would have been a good pun.
it's one of the things that I wouldn't have guessed would ever happen in my life.
Yeah, I agree.
But given the way technology is advanced in all different ways, it does not surprise me that we are at a time where you can do it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
if someone was like, "There's companies trying to do this and they can't do it," I'd be like, "Why can't they? We should be able to do that by now." You know. Same with all your jetpacks and things like that.
My backpack's got jets.
Did you hear that? Where it's like all of the tech bros that are running things in our life are just a generation of guys that got promised jetpacks and woke up and were like, "Damn it, I'm gonna buy a whatever." You know, I'm gonna
Or
make
hoverboards.
Yeah,
Back to the
exactly.
Future. Yeah.
Self-lacing shoes.
All that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 2024, people.
Fucking lied to us.
We're lagging.
Yeah.
Speaking of science news, scientists use CRISPR gene editing technology to remove HIV from
What?
infected cells outside of the human body.
Well, you got to put them in the body. You're not supposed to have them outside the body. This is like Trump with the light.
In a very early stage proof of concept. So CRISPR, we've talked about CRISPR many times on the show before. It's a gene editing tool, and I think when we talked about it initially, which is like, well, holy shit, the implications for this on medicine and health could be massive, and we're still sort of in the beginning stages of seeing how we can use this technology to improve human health. So currently, I mean, we have medications that can help people who have HIV to essentially, put the virus at bay, but it can't kill it. It's still there. And so this potentially could
it's no longer a death sentence if you get it.
Right. But this could actually just completely remove it from a person.
Wow.
So,
this was one of the things promised with CRISPRs.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And they always say, you hear that and you're like, great. Tomorrow they're like, no, 5 to 10 years. And here we are.
Here we are. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're on the bike.
That was the one where every time they're like, this is going to be life changing. Like, I mean,
like this and superconductors that at room
right.
temperature.
Yes. Yeah. But like God, I'm actually, I can't believe I'm drawing such a blank right now. But there's so many things that, like, when it comes to stem cells, right? That was going to change.
Right. Stem cell research.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it changed things, but it doesn't feel like we're in a new world because of it, right? CRISPR is changing everything. Like, it was how they made the mRNA vaccines, I believe, so effective, right?
Yes.
So effective. Great. Let's touch that stove again. Yeah. So wow. Yeah. I mean, it should be curing AIDS. This is just like the brain chips. It's like, yeah, duh. Why have we not? They got all the fucking money all for 30 fucking years. Like, I'm not mad at them for not doing it, but I'm frustrated it hasn't. Like, I'm glad this is here. That's great. I should be happy. Why I'm upset.
What do you think DARPA
They got to put the cells inside the body, though.
That would
the cells shouldn't be outside the body. That's not
you want them in the body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you ask?
What do you think DARPA's got going on that we can't see, given the technology that we can see? Like,
well, we know they got.
They're not reverse engineering UFO technology, according to the most recent reporting. But
yeah, the government checked on the government and said, "Guys, we're not reverse engineering aliens. Why would you think we're doing that?
We wouldn't do that."
Like, this guy asked me. This very public person asked me. Yeah.
All right, let's hit the next two. These are
Reddit?
econ. These are econ.
Okay. Reddit priced its IPO at $34 per share. That's not a funny number. The high end of its target value range, valuing the firm at $6.5 billion. Shares will begin trading under the ticker RDDT. I believe that was today.
It was.
The Wall Street Bets corner of Reddit do not like that the company is selling out. And they promised to disrupt the market.
Well, I would say, and so in their market debut, they were up 48%. They ended the trading day at 50.44 per share. So that values Reddit at $6.4 billion.
That's more than that's 6.5. Okay.
So that's a lot.
It does.
Seems so. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the Wall Street Bets guys will get after it next week, but so far it seems like a winning proposition. I was so surprised. I mean, I guess I knew it, but it feels weird that Reddit wasn't already a publicly traded company. Like, it's been around forever. It feels like, right?
Yeah, but they didn't want to do it that way. You know, they have like 75 million active users, and you can't monetize that. Like, it seems, yeah.
Do you hang out there at all?
Occasionally, like it'll come up in Google searches, and
Yep, that's where I end up there.
that's
Yeah,
that's how I end up there. Yeah, but I don't normally go there and search for anything.
I have the
And
app
it's,
on
and
my
it's
phone.
clumsy because it opens up the app, and then when you back up, it doesn't go back to the website. It goes back to the previous page on Reddit.
Yes,
And I'm like, this was a month ago. I don't
that
know.
is annoying. I
Yeah.
agree with that. Yeah, that's a problem. They should fix that.
They should. Well, no. Why would they fix that? Take you off the app. We're having trouble making money.
Yeah,
We're going to
it's
keep
fair.
you on the app. Maybe you'll see an ad. Go to
Yeah,
team.
it's always the first thing when you click on a thread is always an ad. Like it's just weird.
And it's always like a Temu ad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Always. I don't even know what that fucking company does, but they're everywhere.
No, I know what they do. It's Sheen.
They sell shit.
Yeah.
The Federal Reserve held its benchmark interest rate steady at a target range of 5.25% to 5.5%, but signaled it still expects 3 potential rate cuts in 2024. So we've talked about some of the inflation news, sort of, signals in either direction as far as where we're headed there. But the markets were pretty happy, I guess, with this. The fact that the Fed decided just to hold steady, and they are, as the headline states.
Yeah.
Saying.
Yeah, exactly. I had heard that markets generally were happy that they were fine with them not raising it because there are signs that it could be heating up. I think our inflation was down to in the 2 range, and now it's closer to 3.
3.2, I think.
Yeah. So, if that trends up, that's not a good thing. So rather than risk that coupled with a rate rise and triggering more inflation, possibly, they said money turns out is still worth a lot more. So you're going to have to pay more to borrow it. That's all that means. So
did you listen to that Lawfare episode about the dollar? I think
yes.
that was interesting.
Yeah.
How
it was a lot of the order and Bretton Woods history.
Right.
It's always nice to recap.
Right. And sort of the connecting the dollar from gold, like disconnecting it.
You know what they say that it used to be
He will strap it on and peg
it
you.
used to be pegged to the dollar. It used to be pegged to gold.
Pegged to gold, yes.
Wow.
Yes, it did. And then sort of the impact of keeping the dollar strong, which ended up sending manufacturing jobs overseas and just that whole thing. I don't know. It was an interesting episode. I think I have to listen to it like 2 or 3 more times to grasp all the concepts inside of it. But
yeah, there's a lot in it. Yeah. Lawfare from like Wednesday, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good episode, guys.
All right. We got in other news.
Okay.
Let's see this first one. We only have 2.
Yeah, I only have so there's 2 articles about Julian Assange. One from The Guardian saying that there's signals of a plea deal, and then a follow-up from Reuters, which I would say is probably a little bit more reputable institution than The Guardian, seeming to contradict it. So
so the Reuters headline is Assange team sees no sign of resolving U.S. charges after reported plea deal talks. So they were attempting to negotiate with the DOJ, allowing him to plead guilty, and work that out and come back home. I mean, last reporting that I saw, or people who were close to Assange, were saying that he was in pretty bad shape. That the impact of his like being kept overseas where he was at was having a severe effect on his ability to his mental abilities, etc. Which
he's neurotypical to start with, so it's
right.
not it's not additionally better to be in basically confinement.
Yeah, I mean,
doesn't he have a bunch of cats? Or didn't they kick out his cats? Go on.
I think they did, yeah. But I mean, it feels like this man has for sure suffered more than enough.
Oh yeah. And that's part of the plea deal, is that they would consider everything time served.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And all it did was tell us the things that our government was spying on us on. I mean, the Vault 7 stuff, they're still kind of holding a grudge there. That's kind of the thing that got him in the hottest water.
Right. If extradited, he would face 175 years in maximum
probably not
prison.
That old.
Yeah, probably, unless he's a Methuselah.
Yeah.
I think we're okay. So I don't know. I feel bad about this story. I think it,
Yeah, he deserves to. Did you see the second headline on it? I hope you read these articles. The next one is something that you'd tell me about, because it had to do with a claim I made on the Big Show where I said that airplanes don't work. And then I found.
Oh, I did read that.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Did you read the second one on Assange?
Yeah. So this is the one from
Like
The Guardian.
Same day as the other one. Both of them are from March 20th. So The Guardian says that WikiLeaks plea deal is possibly in the work, and then Reuters says
it's not. Yeah, they contradict each other essentially.
Yeah.
So I think I would agree with you that Reuters is probably the more accurate news organization. But I mean, I would like to see some movement here. At least we're talking about it. So
dude, he's not even an American citizen. He's Australian.
Yeah. No, the whole thing, the whole Assange story sucks, dude.
Yeah, I agree.
The whole thing sucks.
It sums it up just fine. All right, so why don't you tell the audience that I wasn't full of shit when I said that we don't.
All right, so this is from Scientific
American.
Right. No one can explain why planes stay in the air. Do recent explanations solve the mysteries of aerodynamic lift? So essentially what the article says is that, yeah, we have mathematical equations that sort of explain it.
Now you sound like the guy from the clip.
Explain it mathematically. But if you actually try to parse out what's really happening, there's multiple explanations for why lift works. I always was under the impression that it was a matter of pressure.
Yeah, the pressure on the high side of the wing was lower than the pressure on the bottom,
right? And that created lift
going forward.
But apparently, that doesn't really explain the entire way the
planes because you can fly planes upside down. How do you really do that, Alan?
That's how you do international diplomacy.
Yes. Giving him the finger. I hate it when it does that. Sorry. Yeah.
We were inverted. That's how it happened.
Their wings were touching. Have you seen that diagram?
No,
how close they were. The tail wings, the ones, the vertical ones, right?
The tail fin, yeah.
Yeah, the tail fin. That's it. Their tail fins would have been like overlapping.
So would have not actually worked in practice.
If they just backed it up a little bit, but it would have been as good of a shot.
Right. It was a great shot.
I'll send you a diagram.
Okay, please do. Do.
So
yeah, no, Dustin wasn't full of shit. It's true. We really don't have a full understanding or explanation of how lift works.
And you know what doesn't make sense is how those thopters work in Dune. There's no way just fluttering like that would actually do anything. You're counteracting every time you go up. Yeah.
So we have people using brain implants to play chess. We have CRISPR to fucking take HIV out of your genome, but we don't understand how planes fly. What the fuck is
magnets and airplanes? How do they work?
What the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
I don't know. When you said that, I'd never heard that before. I was like,
yeah.
What? And then
I knew I wasn't making it up.
Yeah. I could tell you had a confidence in your conviction there.
Thank you.
I was like, what? Yeah, this is true. It's true. We still don't. It's a very bizarre thing. We got to get somebody. Maybe get Sam Harris on it or somebody.
How do they fire, air, and dirt? Fucking magnets. How do they work?
Was that ICP?
Yeah, you turn to ICP whenever you can't understand how magnets work. You remember fucking magnets. Water, fire, air, and dirt. Fucking magnets. How do they work? Miracles. Miracles happen every day, Alan. You're gonna come on here and act like you don't know about the Miracles song by ICP.
I'm not.
We're pro ICP podcast, I believe, right?
Yeah, although their fan base. So I actually had an employee of mine that was a huge.
You're gonna walk into this, Alan? You're gonna do this?
Was a huge ICP fan. She came to a meeting one time with a T-shirt.
Was this at Staples?
No. This is when I was
there was receiving manager at San Ramon Staples was a huge ICP fan.
Really?
No, the earliest Juggalo I've ever met. By the way, Juggalos and Grateful Dead, same thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, different.
You've said it before with the different
versions of the same thing. Yeah. She showed up to a meeting with a shirt, an ICP shirt, and that was the first time I encountered it. I was like, "What is happening?"
What's that guy with the hatchet? Yeah.
Yeah. They were on. Were they on your mom's house?
I think they were on your mom's house a couple of times.
Yeah. I was like, this is fucking weird.
You got to remember, I lived in Detroit, man. I got exposed to
right. Yeah. That fan base is pretty wild.
Fago, not good pop. It's not. It's fine. Like I'll drink it because it's like the local thing. Like it's not offensively bad. It's just it's not good. Coca-Cola is better. Sorry.
It's like Yingling.
Mountain Dew is better.
Mountain Dew.
It's like Yingling. It's just fine.
It's fine.
It's like fine. If it's this or a Budweiser, I'll have this tonight while I'm here. Like,
So I was talking to Drew yesterday about his buddy that's coming down, and he was like, "Yeah, I was going to take him to some breweries and stuff, but he's not really that into beer. And I was like, well, where's he from? And I think he said like fucking Rhode Island or something. And I was like, well, that's why he's not into beer. All they have is fucking Yingling over there.
Yeah.
He hasn't had good beer. And he starts laughing. He's like, dude, that is his beer. That's the beer he said he drinks. I was like, of course it is.
Yeah.
He's fucking from Rhode Island. That's
You know
what
what though? When you get up north like that, you get some of them Canadian ones. And if I'm having something just a lager like that, I do like a Molson.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah.
And there are some decent breweries on that side of the coast. None that are
Yeah, of course there are. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I don't
Of
care.
course there are. Yeah, it's everywhere.
All right.
It's beer. It's all over the place.
It's beer.
Anyways,
Well,
should we get into media?
Yes.
So TV shows pretty much the same as what I talked about last week. I'm still watching Detroiters. I did pick up Julia, which is
It's a book. You can't say you
book.
picked up Julia on our podcast. There's too many ambiguous things.
Okay, all right. It's a book. It is the female version of.
I wouldn't call it that. I would say it a retelling of 1984 from female
perspective,
from the girlfriend from the book's perspective.
Yeah, from the female protagonist's perspective, I guess, as opposed to his perspective. It is very, very good. And you see a lot of things that makes more sense now because you're seeing the other side of the story. It is a tragic story.
It retells it with added context, endorsed by the estate and by someone who is like, she says she can't remember how many times she's read the book. She would read it like every year or something.
Yeah.
Like she's read countless times. She understands Orwell's message. She writes it in Orwell's style, but it's a slightly different voice, but it stylistically it matches, don't you think?
Absolutely. And I think I'm going to re-listen to 1984 as soon as I'm done with this. Like it makes you want it.
I did it the other way around, but
Okay.
I think it would be fun too. I can't wait for you to get to the end of this book.
Oh, okay.
And I'll be careful because I don't want to spoil anything. But do you remember how the other book ended? Do you remember? Of course you remember the final scene.
They meet in the...
Okay, there's people that haven't.
Yes, I do remember.
Yeah,
yes.
And the scene prior to it, and there's maybe some questions that are asked.
Yes. Yeah, I do remember.
And like I'm not going to ruin anything, but like, that's obviously going to come up in this book. So I can't wait for you to see the scene that you liked from before told in this telling, right?
All right. I'm looking forward to that.
It's really
looking forward to it.
It's really well done.
Right on. All right. How about you, man?
I watched something that you and Tim kind of panned, and I went in sort of just being like, well, I waited for it to be free. I think Dream Scenario is on either HBO or it's on one of the platforms that you already subscribe to.
Mm-hmm.
It's no longer, you don't have to pay to rent it. So Dream Scenarios, the Nicolas Cage movie, and the premise of it is that
people are seeing him and
people are having dreams where they see him, and it starts off with his daughter, and then very quickly into the movie, he's running into people that are like, don't I know you?
Mm-hmm.
And then, it becomes a whole phenomenon.
Yes.
I feel like Allan said he didn't like it or he didn't finish it, and I think
I did finish. I think what I said was it was weird. It just felt
weird.
Strange.
Where's your whole review?
I think
I've got so much. I've got 5.
Keep going. Keep going.
Okay. Well, so like
it was awkward.
Every time that somebody's dream comes up, they don't like sit there and tell it to you like Natasha is with the fish tacos and the train and the bomb. By the way, she told me that I did not remember her telling of the story properly. And then to which I said, "Oh, okay," before she started telling me. We're walking the dogs. Mithra's pulling too hard. I'm distracted. I'm gonna have to live through that later. So every time that somebody's dream comes up, they do an act out in the movie. It's like it's like a separate scene where you're going through what that person's dream is briefly,
right?
Really long. Some are like 15 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And I had recently picked up one of those. They're legal in all 50 states, especially Tennessee, where you get like the gas station vape pens. And man, that vape pen was working because I was not in a good headspace to be watching these.
Oh no!
Oh my god! I mean, is that what you meant with how weird it was? And
it was very yes.
Because it's just awkward dreams, and he's always like just not doing anything. He's just
mostly just stands there
happening. And then there's a turn. We're not going to ruin that. There's a pivot point in the movie,
right?
And I could imagine why some viewers didn't care for it after that point. But a few things came up in it. So did you notice he was reading a book by Robert Sapolsky in it?
I did not notice
He
that.
was
No.
reading the Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers book in that one scene where they're like asking him to leave the diner.
That's our logo.
I know, it's where our logo came from, was that. And the movie starts with him in a classroom talking about zebras.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I feel like there's like a deeper message in this Nicolas Cage movie, but
I might have to watch it again.
yeah,
But
watch it again, man.
it
Yeah.
was so unsettling. Like, it was just so.
It's very unsettling.
You
Yeah,
feel
I
like,
advise you to not go to a gas
you
station.
get like tight in your shoulders, like when you're
Yeah,
watching
tighten
it.
the shoulders is a good description.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the
Yeah, it's very-
opposite of you want to have your hands just right here. It's the
Right.
opposite of that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool.
I watched
Anything else?
another movie.
Yes.
I watched.
tell.
I keep wanting to call it ISIS. I watched ISS. It's the International Space Station, the movie.
There's a movie.
Yes, and it's in theaters now or for rent for $5.99. So that tells you a lot about. You can drive to the movie theaters, pay too much, and sit around a bunch of other people that are going to talk during it, and have a terrible customer service interaction before you go in. It's going to put you in a bad mood for the next hour. Or you could pay $5.99 and not leave your couch, right?
They're
And
not going to put
when
the
you're
proper amount of butter on your popcorn. Like, it's a whole thing, man. It's a whole thing.
Salt ratio was all weird.
Yeah.
The International Space Station is Russian and American astronauts up there, cosmonauts, and that's the scenario of this when
I've seen the trailer for this. I know what you're talking about.
global nuclear war triggers.
Right,
That's in the trailer, and each respective government gives their astronauts instructions to take control of the space station. It's fine. There's literally a Chekhov's gun moment in it. Like it's not like a
you show it, you got to use it by the third act, right?
But it's actually a gun. You're
Okay.
It's like a space gun.
Right, of course it is.
Using something for an experiment, and you're like, well, that's a gun. That's Chekhov's gun, and it's just start the clock until that shows up. It's fine. The special effects at times were very, very stunning, and at times not very believable. And there's a few movies that they said were going to be filmed using footage from the space station. Like Tom Cruise is supposed to be going up there.
Really?
Yeah, it's supposed to be going into space and like supposedly to the space station and doing some. This is real.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's pretty bizarre.
I agree. Like I said those words and I know it to be true.
I'm trying to process it still. I'm like,
can't be saying things like this on the podcast. I'll wing it when I talk about the realtors and whether
right.
I don't know nothing about that. I just said a bunch of numbers about our finances. I don't know about that. 1.5. What do I know? I dealt with all of that. That's why I'm so lucky. I'm like, oh, look at this. I woke up in the house. Just tell me where to pay. Where was I? Oh, you know what? Something she told me when she was texting me was that nothing's going to change in the home price. Everyone's like, this is going to change house price. It's like, no, man. People have a way of getting paid. The status quo has too much inertia.
Yeah, they said that in the Times Daily episode. They said that's.
I feel like they didn't say that enough. Like it's still going to stay there.
They said the 6% was just sort of factored in, so
right?
They would raise the price.
Like you take it away, they'll find a way to still put it in there. Yeah. Anyway, Tom Cruise is going to do a movie in space, and this one's not in space. So like when you're watching it, you're like, you guys aren't really in the space station, and I know that's going to be a thing. I want the space station movie
in the real space station.
Yeah, you guys are just fighting Russians.
Yeah, you're just in a.
It's kind of fun, like the tension. It's like a psychological thriller to an extent.
Is the ending?
It's a Hollywood ending.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it'll be fine or really. Oh, it's not good. The war. I mean, the nuclear war still happens. Yeah, that happens.
that's not good.
Minutes. Yeah, you're like, yeah, that part doesn't get resolved. No.
Okay.
The ending is marginally better. You're like, oh, good. There's a slight edge to this horrible story. Yeah. I guess we don't have games anymore.
We don't? There's no game?
I don't know. I forgot. I've been playing my saxophone. I've been practicing just the two of us a lot. I'm getting pretty good. I can do that. I can do that, and that's fun.
Hell yeah. That's awesome, dude.
And I can read it now. I can like read and I can put my fingers while I do it. It's fun. So I've been doing that instead of putting games together. See,
somebody isolate put my fingers while I do it.
All
I
right,
think
all
that
right,
would.
all right. James, please don't do that. You know what? This is a time to recognize something. You guys are contributing to this venture with us, and it's I do owe it to you to have some sort of a game at the end of the show. I shouldn't be like, well, I've been practicing my saxophone. Sorry, I didn't make a fucking show for you. Please continue to join the Patreon at trumpgags.com for now. No, it's always gonna be trumpgags.com. This is what I have as a game.
Okay, do tell.
We are going to reassign 2 Congress members to where you think they would better fit.
Oh, okay.
I thought of this and I wrote it down while driving. Probably no, allegedly. Hi, damn it. Not at work.
Of course not.
Yeah,
you were going to
I
7-Eleven.
don't do that while I'm
to
driving.
Get some beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if you want to pick a district, you can just go with a state because we have a senator here too. So we have Congressman Lauren Bobart,
House member. Okay.
House member. No,
Lauren
she's not a man. Congresswoman.
Bobart.
We know she's saying them Bobarts, them Bobies, Alan.
Indeed.
Lauren Bobies, where would you think she would fit better than Colorado?
Florida.
She does have Florida energy.
Very much Florida.
I think she'd do well in Michigan too.
Better Florida. I think Florida better.
She is more Florida, especially with all like the family problems and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but there's some you get outside of Lansing and Ann Arbor and Detroit. That's a Michigander if I've seen one.
Okay.
Or opposite, I could go Alaska too, but that's mostly like Sarah Palin energy.
Yeah, Bobart might be too.
I feel like of a mountain town person, she's more Alaska than Colorado.
She certainly is.
Yeah,
she certainly is.
I think you're right with Florida though.
Yeah, I think Florida's a good spot for her. Yeah.
Okay,
absolutely.
Where on earth could you possibly put Ted Cruz though?
I would go with the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
I was going to say Uranus.
That would be ideal.
The International Space Station, actually.
That would be fine too. Yeah.
Well, let's keep it going with movies a little bit with a question that I'll ask you, and we'll end the show. Actually.
All right. What you got?
So they like to do spin-off movies, right? Like there's nothing new
in Hollywood. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And dogs do well in movies, right? Like they love doing movies where like the dog's the main character.
Yeah.
And they can either make the dog talk or it's like a human and a dog situation, like a Marley and Me. And whenever they do, they are always killing the dogs. Like Hollywood loves killing dogs in movies, right?
John Wick, Exhibit A. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So why don't we combine all of these? And I think we'll make a lot of money.
Dude, okay.
They haven't done any spinoffs from the Final Destination movies are their own universe.
Oh, a dog version of Final Destination?
Yeah. So we're just watching dogs die in more and more elaborate ways due to flight mishaps that they maybe do or don't have anything to do with.
I mean,
chasing down a string of dogs that were supposed to be euthanized at a shelter, but they get adopted, and the family and the dogs all get brought into peril because of death.
I think maybe you should talk to your therapist about
me.
How
are you gonna have names for it?
What's the name?
Hold on. You don't think that's a great Hollywood idea?
Of course it is. It just sounds horrific, but yes.
Okay, so this is something I worked backwards from the name.
Okay. What are the workshops?
Scenarios where it starts with a pun and it turns into a whole multi-billion-dollar movie franchise, Alan.
Okay, do tell.
Get the Buddies universe involved.
Can we get Air Bud in there?
Yeah, well, that's the Buddies universe.
Yeah.
It's the buddies with all the little puppies that are the puppies of Air Bud. The buddies, I didn't know this for years. Buddies are the children of Air Bud.
Oh, the dog that can play basketball and soccer and
baseball. Yeah, and there's no, it doesn't say in the rule book that a dog can't play basketball. Yeah. Okay, this started with me.
What were the names? You said you had names.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, we'll workshop both of these.
Okay.
Final Dog Destination. That's a little too on the nose, on the snoot. This is a little too on the snoot.
It is a bit much, yes.
Okay, this one's a little more subtle, and I should probably stop the show after something dumb like this. Fido Destination. Okay. That's how
Okay.
all right.
That
Call,
was fun.
Call Harvey Weinstein. So we got it right here. Talk to you in a couple of days, bud.
Cheers, bud.
Cheers, man.
That was fun, man.
That was